Good morning to all 2 of my subscribers, or good evening, depends on where you are. Got the hair up today, forgive. Probably time for a big chop soon. I wanted to donate it, but I have to grow it like another 4 inches or something like that, and that's like a year or 2 of growth. Got the new lighting set up. Can you see? Can you see that? You see new lighting set up behind me? Not really, I just grabbed the other projector from downstairs. But yeah, I don't know, we're trying it out, trying new stuff. Whatever, you know, camera angle, is it the best, is it the worst? I don't know. Anyways, ramble aside, that was the same way I opened up the video I made for March, but while I was editing that one, I decided to scrap it. So there goes my 1 video per month every month this year idea, but maybe that's just part of the process. Sometimes, even though I sunk time into writing, shooting, and partially editing the video, you gotta cut your losses. I was a little dissatisfied with the quality as well. I shot it on the front-facing camera of my iPhone 11, so the picture wasn't as good, and I still haven't really worked out a good backdrop, but I'm not getting so close to the microphone anymore, so that's a little progress there. Anyways, I was still gonna post it because I think it's good to show everyone, no, we're all just putting up shitty videos to start out while we figure it out. But the premise of the video kind of fell apart while I was recording it. It's Make Something March. You see, having time-bound sprint goals can be helpful for getting ourselves to focus on a task. And that's great for racing to get something done, but it's not as useful if we're aiming to develop consistent habits. For Make Something March, I'm committing to working a little bit on the same project every day in the month, not with the goal of finishing it, but just to prove to myself what a month's worth of baby steps looks like. So that's the point here, a full month of baby steps to prove to myself that it adds up to 1 big boy step. That was the premise of Make Something March. The problem, of course, was that I wanted to write more consistently. And the solution I came up with brilliantly was I'll just write every day. Sub-problem we encountered was that there are things preventing me from writing every day, which is why I have the problem with the consistency in the first place. And my sub-solution was just do it anyway? So that's not really a solution at all, which is why this happened. Anyways, things didn't go entirely as planned, and I wanted to explain that and offer an alternative interpretation of the Make Something March style challenge. Basically, now that I'm tracking it, my progress, even with this challenge in mind, it seems like I'm writing about like 50% of the days. So I wonder if I was like really not getting any reps in before. But all is not lost, because now we have a baseline. I get to determine the baseline. Like, what's my level of consistency to start? And if this is a priority for me, what are the things that are getting in the way? It's good data. We're getting that good data. At the very least, it has made me pay more attention to the way that I spend my time. For example, if I'm tired after work, you know, I don't want to write, I don't want to do anything, but instead of faffing about all evening and watching TV or something, my body's just actually just asking me for sleep. So like in this case, my sleep schedule, or really lack thereof, was getting in the way of writing. And that's really what it's all about, actually tracking my consistency and trying to get better, but doing so out of dedication to myself and the craft, whatever that means, and building skills in a low pressure, you know, fun way. In short, I didn't really change my circumstances or behavior in any meaningful way, even though I meant to, so my outcome didn't really change. But I did make 2 small interventions along the way, which have allowed me to salvage something from the challenge. Namely, I, 1, was thinking about it more, which isn't nothing. That's gotta affect the behavior somehow. I had it top of mind. And 2, even though I only started this halfway through the month, I started recording my results on this handy habit tracker. Can you see? Can you see it? Do you see it? I didn't make this, I found it on the internet, but I will link to it in the Inspo section. Pretty handy. So obviously this is a blank one with some sample stuff filled in. but it allowed me to see for a 2-week period at least how consistently I was writing. And so even if I wrote just even a little bit, I would count it. But the goal was to write like a page a day. And I predicted I would be about 50% consistent. And the real number was much lower than that. I will admit it to you later. Well, that sucks and was rather discouraging. And now here we are, I'm like almost halfway through April at the time of recording this, and I've already missed more days than I've hit for my writing goal. But reflecting on the challenge from last month, Make Something March, and having a little bit of data to back it up has allowed me to observe some things about myself. I already knew that getting momentum going behind a habit was helpful for me. You know, the desire to keep up that streak. It's when you get that squirt of tasty brain chemical that makes you think, oh, well, I finally followed through on something and it actually feels good. Like that's what we're doing this for. But I never gave much thought to this positive momentum's dark doppelganger, negative momentum. So when I saw that blank streak on my habit tracker, I didn't even want to think about trying to write today, because subconsciously it was as if I'd already blown the whole month. So what's the point? And I felt like I couldn't make it up, like I couldn't hit my goal. This lack of progress is becoming a theme in all my videos. Made me want to not even try, probably to protect myself from the pain of future failure, because on some level, if you don't try, then you can't fail, but this is a bad mindset. Also, I was literally looking at evidence that the challenge was too difficult for me, as evidenced by the fact that I failed to achieve it day after day. So at the very least, I was able to observe my own psychology around Make Something March, even though the challenge didn't produce the result I was looking for. I declared that these things were my priorities and I would just move everything else out of the way to make room, but I didn't actually really think about what I would have to move, even if that was just like, you know, chill time at the end of a long day or whatever. In my mind, there's a certain optimal order of operations after work, like get home, work out, then take a shower, then make dinner, and then do the writing. But if I have to cook that day, it's like bedtime by the time I actually get around to writing. Not only am I more tired after doing all those other tasks, but I also then haven't given myself any time to relax and just like vegetate, you know, which is something my subconscious seems to intensely rebel against. The mind goblin wants to veg. Well, haven't I spent the last couple of videos on this channel extolling the virtues of the starting so small that it's easy strategy? The trouble with that strategy is the trial and error and frustration. What you believe to be a small and easy start might turn out to be just a little bit too much, and then you find yourself having to work up to the point at which you thought you would be starting out. That's frustrating. That blows. But them's the breaks, bruh. So we gotta go through that disappointment and then get to the other side. I was initially thinking I could consider the month a success if I could write 2/3 of the days. And then I was thinking maybe I could do half, and I came in below half. The whole point of the challenge was to prove that a month's worth of little baby steps do add up to something, and that doing a little bit each day wasn't worthless. And in a cruel twist of fate, I sort of proved the opposite. I didn't find it as easy as I thought it would be to write a little bit each day. And when you don't, it doesn't add up to very much at all. In the month of March, I wrote 5 pages total. This equates to roughly 16% of the days. Ouch, that doesn't feel good. I wrote more than 5 days in the month, but some days I didn't hit a full page. So here's what I'm switching to. I know I've discussed multiple quantities and spacings of pages, but here's what I'm gonna do for level 1. And I think the video game analogy is a good one here. Right now we're gonna say I'm a level 0 writer, and so to get to level 1, I have to write 1/3 of the days of April. And for a writing day to qualify, I have to write a full page, double spaced. That's what I'm starting with. It sounds easy enough, and yet also seems it will provide a challenge based on my experience last month, but it seems achievable. So I know I've talked about the start with something so small that it's easy to get started on a habit, but now I need to stay engaged. So I'm going for a challenge that feels achievable, yet also not super duper easy. There's like a sweet spot of challenge there. Am I just being inconsistent? Well, yes, actually that's the whole problem. So if I don't hit 1/3 of the days, I don't make it to level 1, and then we try again next month, I guess. If I do hit 1/3 of the days, I earn myself some kind of treat. Probably some small vanity purchase, and then I graduate to level 2 next month, where I'll try to write for half the days of the month. We'll see if this works. Hopefully I'm not making the May video about like what I learned from failing 2 creative challenges in a row. Maybe it's easier to just have hard and fast rules rather than being able to fulfill or not fulfill the task each day, like, you know, just write every single day. I don't know. We're just gonna keep trying stuff until we figure ourselves out. So I'm using one of the lines here as a progress bar to tell at a glance how I'm doing. You can see writing there, and then there's a little green crayon underneath. Good for telling at a glance how I'm doing. I'll mark an X in the boxes on the dates that I do write, and then I'll fill in this progress bar from the start, and with this crayon for a convenient visual. And I'll probably add some more stuff here. While we're at it, I think I'll track some habits that I want to minimize down here. Got another progress bar in blue, so you know I want as few X's as possible in these rows. Drinking, smoking, buying food out, you know, just regular, usual, normal guy stuff. But yeah, I don't know, I figure it would be good to have that data while we're collecting data, you know? Well, butter my buns and call me a biscuit. I guess that's the video. Since I'm getting this video out like midway through the month, I will not know how the challenge has gone at the time of posting. Hopefully, I will get this up like soon, in the next couple days. So I'll have to check back in with you in May. I will also say that I count a day spent writing a script or shooting or editing these videos as a writing day, which makes sense for me based on my own goals, namely consistent creation. And now that I think of it, it usually takes me like 2 days to write, and then like a day to edit the script, then 1 to 2 days to shoot it, and like 2 to 3 days to edit the video. So that's like a week of the month spent on the video. But you know, that's fine. We'll just see how it goes. So I'm looking at my real habit tracker here. It's private. After a few blank days, we got a few X's in a row. Woohoo! Take it easy, brothers and sisters.